massive breakout. Lifted up by names such as Google, Microsoft, Apple had a nice push, as well as the chip sector finally ripping back and getting back into where we're accustomed to seeing it, right? But before we get into that, if you guys haven't already, if you like and enjoy this type of content, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out a ton. Now, let's get into some of the content. Overall, the market has seen some incredible movements over the last few weeks, and you're seeing a bit of a shift. We saw a shift yesterday when we had a big sell-off in the chip sector. AMD was down, Nvidia was down, TSM, anything chip related was down, partially because Nvidia was seeing a massive drop after its huge blow off top that it ran in the preceding week, right? But I wanted to take a look at some of these big box retail names, such as you can see on my screen right now, we have Walmart. One thing I kind of want to identify that was interesting on the chart was this little huge gap down that it had to reestablish this new range that we're trading within, right? It's not a huge shift in terms of the overall numerical difference. Is about $1.50 from the top of the range to the bottom of the range, but it's very interesting in terms of low risk opportunities in the marketplace, right? So looking here at Walmart's chart, I feel as though we're likely going to get a trend line retest, as this trend line is held pretty strongly on this hourly time frame. As you can see here, multiple taps, multiple touches, not just wicks, but candle close bounces right off the top of that trend line. And this gap that we got here is actually right below a previously established resistance as seen on this left side of the screen. Now, if we get a candle close above this orange line here at 67.47, which is about 5 cents off where we closed this morning, or close this afternoon, I should say, that gives us an opportunity to take some low risk call entries with a candle close above here for a potential ride up to this trend line retest zone. Okay. Again, the top of the trend line also coincides with the top of the previously established resistance at $69. And I think that this presents itself with a relatively low risk call option opportunity, should that hold. Now, there is always chance for downside. I'm actually going to jump over here to a chart that I drew out last night or the night before, and that's Target. I had a similar situation to Walmart, but what we had prior to today's trading session, which was here, these 6 candles around here, we had a similar situation. We had a trend line tap, consistent, strong trend line resistance, right? Boom. Oops, scrolling over here. Consistent trend line taps, following a bull breakout right here at the trend line level, right? Bull breakout, trend line bounce, right underneath the resistance. Had we gotten a candle close above this level here, it would have been likely a gap up to the next level of support, which is where we first saw our breakdown from that previously trend line retest, which was about a $6 or $7 move from where we were currently at. However, we never got the candle close above that zone. We didn't even wick above it. What happened? This support level or resistance level at this point proved to be very, very strong. We consolidated underneath it with that bull flag breakout, and that bull flag rejected below, right back below the trend line. So that's a possibility that could happen with Walmart as well. I just think in terms of the level of move, Walmart has a far smaller window to travel than Target did. And again, with Target, the setup is still definitely a feasible one should we get a candle close above this trend line for that retest. But until then, I will not touch it until we get back around the 150 zone for Target. Now, that going back to Walmart very, very briefly before we shift over to some other tickers. It's all about how it respects this trend line retest, right? If we get that close above this support at $67, like I said, we will be able to break through and likely retest at least the midpoint of this trend line, which represents about 50 or $75, 70-cent move to the upside, which may be a pretty decent move for some short-term call options on this ticker. Now, let's go over to a more fun name. Let's jump over here to NVIDIA, the market maker itself, right? The most powerful ticker on the market. We've seen a lot of movement in NVIDIA since it's had its massive blow off top. I'm actually going to jump over to the 4-hour time frame and the daily. We're going to look at those 2 frames. So see the massive breakout since we had its stock split, and we just kind of been running ever since then, right? But we had a crazy spike all the way up to about 144 or 140, 142, rejected from that zone, in a massive blow off top retest, and we dropped from 140 all the way back down to 117. So if you bought calls at the top, you likely lost your pants, right? But understanding the charting, understanding what the ticker is likely going to do in the event of a blow off top scenario, as we've been talking about on this channel for numerous weeks now, that NVIDIA is in the midst of doing, then you kind of were aware of what was likely going to happen. Now, if you look at it here on the hourly time frame, it looks as though we have that head and shoulders pattern starting to play out with this next level of price action that we saw for to the upside, forming that right shoulder to bring us back down to this 115 retest. I think that that level is possible as well. Also, far more likely, especially due to the fact that the market overall, SPY, QQQ, are all trading at or near all-time highs. I mean, we saw Google gap up literally and close all-time highs today on the news of its the AI stuff that's going to be part of their vehicle rollouts, right? With their the AI and UI user interface on that. So tech has been seeing a massive run. And I think NVIDIA is going to lead the cool down period that we need to see in the market to kind of reset us for our next wave of all-time high tests. But until then, just something to keep an eye out there. I'm not going to be the one to say, hey, short NVIDIA, short NVIDIA, short NVIDIA, just because it has been the most powerful ticker in the market for the last year or so, and will likely continue to do so, especially now that the stock split has made it much more affordable to the average investor, right? So that's something to keep an eye on here as well. And then the last ticker I'm going to talk about today, trying to keep this again, try to keep our videos nice, rapid fires, go over our thoughts, is Meta. So I'm going to jump over to Meta on the 4-hour time frame and on the daily time frame. So here you can see we have two strong trend lines. We have a trend line to the downside, which we saw a gap up from to our new levels that we're seeing currently, and a trend line to the upside, which we also have a likely retest forming as well. So these lines have been pretty consistent. This is coming off of the all-time highs of Meta, and this is coming off from its massive gap down from those all-time highs a few weeks ago. And you can see that right now we are consolidating around a level that we've had established as a soft support about last week, around 502, 503. And the overall market has been treating Meta as a very, very, very key ticker for the overall Q's movement and momentum, right? So right now we're hovering about 410. We broke through this weak support, so we can actually delete that out of here. And it's likely, if we're going to continue to push to the upside, a trendline retest back at 525 is likely, which would pretty much put us right around all-time highs that we had established back in March, right? March and April. I think with Meta overall, as the tech sector continues to show signs of strength with names like Microsoft and Google, as I previously mentioned, and even Apple participating in the race here as it's fighting with NVIDIA and Microsoft for that overall #1 market cap spot. Then you'll see similar names such as Meta, barring any negative news, continuing to ride that trend towards those upper levels before we see that strong level of rejection. Now, if you remember what I talked about with NVIDIA, I do think that pullback is coming because we don't trade at all-time highs all the time. I mean, just this year alone, we've seen the market close all-time highs over 30 times, which is not a normal thing for a market as strong as we've seen this year, right? So the inevitable pullback will happen. When is the question? And I do think that in the meantime, it's very, very important to understand key levels of support and resistance and how tickers interact with those via price action. But that's it for today, guys. I've been Trade Runner. This is Trading Analytics. If you enjoyed this type of content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to get more and more of these types of videos, guys. We're informative. Also, over there in our Discord server, guys, we talk about all the tickers, really. We got CCL, AMD, NVIDIA. We talk about tickers all the time over on Discord server. The link to that will be in the description of this video as well as in our channel bio. Our account challenge is going great. You guys have seen clips of it throughout this entire video. It's been fantastic. Almost finished with our $1,000 to $10,000 account challenge, and we're looking to start up another one from 1,000 to 10,000. And those who have participated in our previous one that we currently have going on, we're looking to take that from 10,000 to 50,000 before the end of the year. It's been a blast, super, super fun time, man. and I can't wait to see what else I have in store for that. But like I said, I've been Trade Runner. This is Trading Analytics. Thanks for watching.